Well, I don't know if you ever considered this, but to me, it sounds like you're a seeker, like you're somebody that's always looking for that solution and that answer. And I guess if you look at that, what kind of guides you in that? Because I think it's really interesting because you see a lot of people that look for something and they never find it, but
Mm,
you seem to be continually looking and finding. And I'm curious what guides you in that.
that's a really great question. For me, it's, I guess, what I call my intuition. It's my connection on a soul level, my level of presence, like who I am at the depths of me, like my essence. And when feeling disconnected from that, it's like that's like my first sign when I feel down and out of my body is what I mean by down and out.
Right.
Not in my body. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling low energy, low vibration. The first thing I do is bring my awareness inside and internally bring all of my attention. And I'm sure you've heard that, like, where your attention goes is where energy flows. So when you're tending to where you want to grow, that's what happens. And so once you turn that inwards internally, then that can begin to grow, and those little bits of connection can start to happen. And for me, that was ultimately what it was. I like to also call it like my compass. Is like aligning to my North Star. Like what really inspires me. And when I can tune into what that is and tune into the deepest core of who I am, then I can pretty much find all the answers there. And that's like just a level of empowerment that I like to guide all of my clients and really anyone that I come in contact with to be their own power and their own source of wisdom. Because yeah, I'm finding things, but I'm also, because I'm turning inwards and I'm seeking that from myself, I'm not out there externally asking, oh, hey, fix me. Oh, can you help me? And it doesn't mean that I don't ask for help when I need it.
Sure.
It's more so that I'm the first person I turn to when I'm seeking guidance, because I know what I need. Truly, like my body's infinitely wise, and being connected to that, my essence, right? The soul of what animates us as human beings, this energy within us, our vitality. Then I can begin to listen on a deeper level and begin to find those answers.
It's so interesting because I think so often we want to find something outside of ourselves to
Yeah.
tell us what's right and what's wrong and whatever it may be. It's because I've had different viewpoints on this throughout my life, but I feel like it's also like, at least where I'm at right now, I feel like it's a responsibility level thing, right? Like if we find somebody else to help us, well, then they're responsible for our condition, good or bad. And I think so often we're actually a lot more capable and a lot more able to solve our own condition than we want to believe. Is that something you've considered?
Definitely. And it goes into what I was just speaking to around empowerment. You can either be a victim in life, and this is like a state of being. It's something that you can like choose. You can choose to be a victim to your circumstances. You can choose to be a victim to the things that are happening and look at life as though like, oh, it's happening to me. Woe is me. Or you can take that responsibility and begin to step into a place of empowerment where you begin to understand that this is all happening with you. Life is happening for you, and you become a creator in that standpoint. And that's an empowered place. And of course, it can be really easy to just fall into the conditioning and blame and point the finger and be like, you did this to me.
Well, and I think society like really enforces that, right?
Totally.
We tell people, yes, you need that medication or you need that pill or you need that person to help you, rather than like, hey, there's a solution. You can do something about this, right? Like, I think it's also, it's enforced on us too.
Definitely. It is the way that the paradigm has been set up till this point, where it is like that I know better. I'm the authority over you. So you need to do X, Y, Z because that's what's going to help you. And really all of that system is set up to keep us in a loop. If we look at modern day medicine, it's a money game.
Yes.
That's all it is. The more that the doctor diagnoses that this thing is what's wrong, then you get this drug, and then maybe that creates another side effect, so you need another drug. Then the doctor's making more money to get paid, to make those diagnoses, to do those surgeries, as well as the pharmaceutical companies, big pharma, is banking off of every single thing that's wrong with us. And, don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to modern medicine. Like if I break my arm, you bet I want a doctor to reset
Absolutely. I think there's definitely uses, but I think at the same time, like we don't empower people, right? Like we disempower them, and that's a big problem.
Definitely. And it's that knowing, that knowledge of that the body is infinitely wise, and it is a self-healing, self-regenerative mechanism.
Let's take a look at that then. We have this disease state. We have all these different things that kind of show up in the body, right? Like, I think it is so interesting. Like when you're off purpose or when you have a bad relationship, like these things do physically show up. And I guess when you look at it, what's that process like for you and in terms of like who you work with activating your body's ability to heal? Like, what does that look like, and what does that process look like?
Yeah. So like I was saying, if you break your arm, like you want someone to maybe help it get back, set it into the right place, but then the body is going to do the rest. The body is actually what's going to mend. And so when we begin to look at it in this way, that my body knows how to heal itself, same thing with a cut or anything else. So we have to remember that, and we have to kind of like, subscribe to that, to like, oh, my body is infinitely wise. It knows how to heal itself. So that's like a first step, is like even understanding and like starting to believe in that concept. Because like you said, most people are disempowered. They're like, oh no, I'm broken. And kind of just don't even know what to do or how to even begin to look through that lens of like that of self-healing. So first thing is like helping them understand that their body is able to do what it does when it is in the most favorable circumstances. And also understanding that a lot of times the issues are in the tissues. That's like a common thing that we hear in the wellness industry, especially in like the bodywork field and different things. So what I mean by that is that these things that happen, whether it is an injury or an emotional thing or a stress, that it ends up sitting somewhere in our body in one of our tissues, which all of our organs are made of tissues. Our muscles are made of tissues, ligaments, everything is also, some kind of tissue in our body. And so it ends up sitting somewhere, which then causes us this dis-ease. Symptoms start to come up. So first step is beginning to turn the mind and start to have a new perception and perspective of how the body works, and understanding that when it is in a whole brain function, when it's in growth and repair mode, then it's optimized to do what it needs to do.